Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm Robbie Rhino, and in today's video you'll be seeing me do 22,998 combined damage in just under 11 minutes in 2 replays in the Type 59D. This is a tank that I did a full review of a short while ago, and I will link that for you above now if you'd like to go and watch that. That would be awesome, and thank you very much for supporting my content. But I'll briefly tell you what this tank is. It's an Era 3 Premium Eastern Alliance medium tank. It's a Chinese medium tank in Era 3, and it's a really good silver earner. I think my thumbnail or the title of my review was "It'll Make You Rich," and I stand by that. You have a great DPM with fantastic standard penetration. It fires every 5 seconds with my commander and equipment setup. You can do a lot of damage and have fantastic results, as these 2 games show. And how did I get this damage so quickly? Well, in both of these games you're basically seeing me play a swarm mentality with my heavy tanks. My heavy tanks are pushing forward very aggressively. As you can see, there are a couple of platoons, and I'm just supporting the heavy tanks. I'm sitting ever so slightly back, and as soon as the tanks in front have fired a couple of shots, I'm going in and I'm just going around flanking them, putting a couple of shots into the side of these enemy heavy tanks. And yeah, I'm putting my damage in that way and firing every 5 seconds with this 105mm gun that deals 480 alpha damage. You certainly rack up the damage very quickly. You'll see me aim for tracks where possible to pin the enemies in place to help my damage output in terms of my assistance damage, and to also help my teammates tag out the enemy. And my commander and equipment setup allows me to have this DPM and this mobility. So I'll just quickly tell you what that is. On my equipment, I run improved ventilation to help the all-round DPM and all-round performance of the tank. I run a gun stabilizer to help the accuracy, and a traction system to help my mobility, to keep up to speed with all of the fastest tanks in Era 3 and try and keep up with the flow of the battle. And on my commander, I run Sixth Sense, Born Leader, Rapid Loading, Steady Aim, Rapid Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, Armour Angling, and Track Mechanics. So this is kind of a heavy tank crew that I've taken from Era 2, and I just haven't changed the skills, but it works really nicely. I'm able to get my tracks on quickly, take less damage. All the gun handling perks help this medium tank, and I found that this sort of setup works really well for me. There are a couple of skills that you might want to switch out, but yeah, as you'll see, it seems to be performing, so I'm not going to change what isn't broken at the moment. So in this game here on Great Wall, we've already picked up 5.6k direct damage, 2.7k assistance, and we are just swarming around these tanks. We are going as a pack, we're hunting as a pack, and it's lovely when teammates play like this with you, and you're able to assist them and they're able to assist you, and we're just taking out these enemies one by one. We're always in close proximity to the base here, so there's no need for us to rush back when there's just one in the cap. And I think that tank has left the cap now, knowing that, you know, his time's up and he's just going to try and re-stealth and stay away from us, and we're just going to zoom on now. You'll see the mobility, it goes up really nicely in this tank, and I'm able to keep up with the heavy tanks, surprisingly, that are faster than this tank anyway, but that's just Cold War for you, I guess. And now you're seeing the great gun handling of this tank and excellent standard penetration at work, and that standard penetration means that you don't have to fire any premium rounds or many at all. I do carry quite a few just because I can afford to, you know, not make as much silver as I would have otherwise, but I didn't really need to, and you make a lot of silver that way because of the fantastic penetration. So in that first replay, we've picked up 8,000 direct damage. We have finished MVP with 2.7k assistance and made just shy of 700,000 silver, and that's only a second class. And now I'm going to head on into the second replay and talk you through that one. So that first battle was 4 minutes and 10 seconds, as you can see in the top right corner there, and we'll see how fast the next one is and how much damage I do in that one. So now you're joining me into the second replay of the video. We are here on Rosania, and we're going to be heading towards the little sort of castle or ruins location, which is located in the sort of FG 3, 4 area. And you'll see the mobility means that I'm able to go and sort of be one of the first ones here, so I'm able to get some assistance and spotting out if possible at the start of the battle. And you'll see that I've noticed there's a lot of sort of support coming this way, a lot of heavy tanks that are rushing towards this brawling area, and that allows me to use other tanks as a distraction and put my gun to work where possible. There are a few bots in this game. This was a sort of late night game, and this is actually now my highest ever damage award of tanks console. Unfortunately, obviously, it does have a few bots in, but that doesn't matter too much. I'm sure I will do more damage as I get more Era 3 tanks. So I'm now sat on this location. I've got some hard cover in front of me, and I'm just going to be trying to put as much damage in as quickly as possible. And when this gun gets singing and when you put the rounds out, that damage does come extremely quickly, as I talked about in the first replay. So I'm just trying to get my first shot of damage in at the start of this battle, and I would have been able to do this much combined damage a lot quicker if I found some shots at the start of this battle a bit faster. So we missed our first shot there, or we bounce off the M1 Abrams there, but he's just sitting in place and we're going to be trying to farm him. I'm using all of this hard cover to try and stay hidden from all of the opponents there. I think we go through the outer turret ring on the front of the turret there with the fantastic standard penetration this tank has, and now when all of these tanks are being spotted, I'm just round the side of these tanks. I'm using that sort of swarm of heavy tanks that I've pushed to the left and right of me, and I'm just firing into the side of these tanks basically, and this is just a free farm. There isn't an awful lot of skill. I'm making sure that I've got enough cover. I'm in a location where I can use the gun depression, which isn't the best in the Type 59D, but I'm able to use this position, and if I need to, I can fall back behind the hard cover and relocate. And I'm just getting shot after shot into whatever is fighting my friendly tanks basically, and I'm trying not to be too obvious of where I am, set out in the middle so that I'm able to get shot. And I want to make myself as hard as possible for the enemies to hit, so that they're focusing on other tanks and I'm able just to free farm into the sides and rear of them. And as you can see, they're just driving blindly into my friendly tanks, and as soon as I'm spotted, I'm able to pull back, and this sort of usable armour with the Type 59D does save me there from taking some damage as we sort of bounce off of our spaced armour. I think there you're seeing the great standard penetration, the relatively good accuracy with my commander and equipment setup work well for me here, and we're already up to 5.7k damage, and it's a close game, so I don't want to sort of push forward and lose all my hit points just yet, but I still want to have an impact. So as soon as I'm not able to sort of farm for 30 seconds to a minute, I'm going to try and relocate to a better location to have a better impact in this battle. Now I've noticed that my sort of the rest of my remaining teammates are pushing down now, slightly towards the south, coming back round towards the ruins area. I take a shot in the back here, but I do use that repair kit that restores your health, so I'm just restoring some of my health now, and I've preserved my hit points so that I'm able to be more effective at the end of the battle. And that comes in handy when it's a closer game like it is now. So now we're just going to be trying to stop the enemies flanking us. We're in sort of a good defensive location here, maybe like a football or soccer team, whatever you want to call it, depending on where you are in the world. But we're in a sort of back seven here, just defending this location around the ruins. And I'm just going to be trying to get shot after shot into these tanks, and this is where that fantastic reload comes in handy. I'm not being spotted because I didn't push out as far as I did just then, and we managed to get 3 shots in, lock that tank in place and take him out of the game. And now this M1 Abrams is coming around, but he puts 1 into us and we're going to get 2 into him and hopefully finish enough, but we leave him on 34 hit points. I'm just going to try and angle and go forwards and backwards, and fortunately he bounces off our troll frontal hull armour, and now it's this MAAGS coming round, and we're going to try and just out DPM these tanks, use our armour, swivel round, strongest part of our armour to us, and we're firing on reload, and this is where I'm picking up so much damage. And it was about this time I realised that I've passed the 10k mark and there are still 7 enemy tanks left, and I want to try and get as much damage out of this game as possible. So now I'm going to use my hit points, my mobility, and chase this light tank. I'm firing on the move. Unfortunately for the enemy there, they crashed into each other, meaning that I can do a ram kill on the light tank there, and I'm going to go after this Challenger 2, and we are up to 11,000 damage, but he gets taken off, and I'm just going to swivel around, use the mobility, the good traverse speeds that are improved with the traction system, and I'm going to go after this M1A2 Challenger. I do know that I could get shot on the sides here, but I think, you know, in these positions you've just got to think whether it's worth the risk. We do track him in place so that if we don't get any more direct damage, we do get the assistance, but we flank around that M1A2 Abrams and we manage to take him out of the game, and it's just this one heavy tank left, and hopefully he's on a good amount of hit points so we can either farm or track him in place and get some assistance, boosting my hit points a little bit more so that when I do meet this M1A1 Abrams, we're able to take a couple of shots. And it's just now a case of racing forward, and it's extremely fast in Cold War anyway, but in Era 3 it's even faster, and games like this you do need a tank with good mobility, good DPM, a quick reload, and you just want to be aggressive and choose the moments when to push or when to use your friendly tanks as a sort of bait for you. They go forward, take a shot for you, the heavy tanks, or bounce one, and you're able to go in and put one or two shots into the sides or rear of the enemy. And you'll see what kind of things that you can do late night when there are bots playing and people are tired and making some bad plays, and that's the end of that battle there, where we pick up 12,246 damage with 4 kills, make 800,000 silver. That's only your first class, and 1,816 base experience points. And that was all done in 6 minutes and 49 seconds. So that's a crazy amount of damage in those 2 replays. That's 22,998 damage in just under 11 minutes in 2 replays with the Type 59D, and a lot of silver made. So I hope you enjoyed this replay. Until next time, I'll see you on the battlefield, and bye for now.